With how controversial The Last of Us Part 2 has been, it was bound to receive negative reviews. Not only because the game's story seems to have some glaringly bad problems, like how they had to make Joel dumber to lead to his death, but also because when you try to create a sequel, it's going to most of the time be loved or be hated, especially with the negative press Naughty Dog and Sony have been receiving over the game. But it is officially out now, and as a lot of us assumed, the user rating and the critic ratings are completely different. So I thought that I would read through some of the Metacritic user reviews and really give you all the first idea of how people are feeling. There are 2,901 positive reviews, 257 mixed, and 7,102 negative scores, leading to right now a rounded user score of 3.4. Now I just want to say it is currently being review bombed. A lot of people leaving negative reviews have not actually played the game yet. Their reviews don't have any substance or context to the game. They're just saying, fuck Naughty Dog, which I don't partake in user review bombs like that. I actually like to give most of the time my genuine thoughts on a game because people genuinely want users' opinions. That's why they look at user reviews. But maybe this will get the point across to Naughty Dog that they did not do what fans wanted. So, I will read through some of the reviews. The first one is a 1 that says, honestly, the It's an SJW game isn't even the reason why everyone is so upset. It's that Naughty Dog ruined such beloved characters and created a terrible story in the process that makes this game unbearable to even finish. The only good thing about this game is the graphics, but I wouldn't even say that's a compliment, because we already expected them to be good. Just stick with the first game. The second review says 3. It breaks my heart to write this, but I really did not expect such a poor story after all of these years of waiting. While there were a few genuinely good moments, the majority of the game filled up with plot holes. It just took elements of what worked for the first game without understanding what made them compelling. The next one says, a 5. Okay, so it's a mixed review. After 7 long years, this is what we get. I was still hoping the leaks had not shown everything, and well, it didn't, but it was worse than I thought. The gameplay is the same with very small improvements, which is why I am sad after 7 years. The game is still very clunky. The world and the scenery are great. Everyone, from what I'm seeing, enjoys the graphics, but we're talking about a game in 2020, a game that's coming out on the end cycle of the PlayStation 4. We're moving on to next generation. A lot of games right now look incredible. Just because a game looks incredible doesn't mean it's good, though, and I want to say that because while I myself love beautiful looking games, like many other people, just because it looks good doesn't mean it's an instant $60 purchase. And I also want to say that this game is long. This game on the average playthrough is like 35 hours from what we are hearing right now, which is a great length. But again, what we are hearing is that yes, it's 35 hours, but it could have been crunched down to like 20, and it would have been a much better game because they tried to fill it with unnecessary story that doesn't go anywhere, it's just full of plot holes, which is a big problem. I would rather have a game that's good than have a game that's long. Happy Zerg gave it a 0. Graphics 8 out of 10. Locations 7 out of 10. Story 1 out of 10. Characters 2 out of 10. Gameplay 5 out of 10. SJW scum 0 out of 10. Total 0 out of 10 for ruining a great franchise with a shit plot and SJW stuff. So, I mean, a lot of that sounds kind of fair. I mean, graphics, yes, the game graphically looks gorgeous, the locations look really good, but again, when you have a game with a story that people are rating a 1 out of 10, that's not very good. The next one says 4. Neil tries to be Hideo Kojima, but his attempt fails big time with the awful story. The graphics and gameplay is great, but those things don't make for the awful story decisions. We have a couple more 0s. Good graphics, but story and gameplay are outdated. The Last of Us was way better, and I think they tried too much about this game. I just want to say it has been 7 years in the making. 7 years ago, when they started making this game, The world was in a very different place, and yes, while Neil Druckmann has made some, we'll call them woke statements, it seems like over the years they kind of lost touch with the story that they were trying to tell. I haven't played the game myself yet. I have watched several hours of the game so far, and from what I'm seeing and from what other people are saying as well, it just seems like they started with a vision and they completely lost track of where they were going with the story. Obituary says 0. Seriously, no explanation needed for this low score. They ruined the franchise. There was a 0. I do not even want to elaborate on my heartbreak for this series. What's done is done, I guess. Another one says 3. The gameplay is alright at best, not upset by it. It's just the story that really peeves me. How can you go from The Last of Us 1 to this in terms of story? So I've discussed a couple of the leaks at this point. A couple of months ago, when the leaks were first put onto 4chan, I had talked about them. I talked about, just a few days ago, Joel's ending and leading up to Joel's death. I've talked about quite a bit when it comes to The Last of Us Part 2. But now that the game is out, there are quite a few reviewers who I am genuinely excited for their reviews, because they're not biased. You know, they come out with their reviews, they put them forward, like Skill Up. His review for the game was pretty good in my opinion. I know that people are trying to cancel him online because they simply didn't like his opinions on the game, but overall, as you can see, the user score is a 3.4 right now. I will update you all on Twitter a little bit when we hear more of the reviews in about a week or so, when the reviews have flattened out, but that is all that I had to discuss in this video. If you liked it and found it important, please make sure to give it a like, and of course if you did not, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.